As promised, we are back with the black EK build, 25K budget. Today we're going to be going over the parts that are going into this build. So the Boxing Day sale went through the other day, as I mentioned. So the ASR brace and sway bar combo was only $385. There was no sale on the brake kit, so the AP Racing brake kit was $26.88. Function 7 rear lower control arms. I actually ended up opting out of those and going for the ASR lower control arms. Next we have some more suspension components. Looks like we have the Hasport engine mounts. 62A is coming at $450. The Öhlins DFV coilover at $2,000. The used sway bar, $450, with all the components for it. Here we have some mechanical parts. We also have the intake arm, upper and lower box. This intake box is from my DC2R build. That's not finished yet. They're brand new in packaging still. So it actually costs more than that 500 USD mark. On this one we have some dress-up bits. The biggest ones being the hardware restoration and plating for the majority of the car was $800. Powder coating for all the bits, pieces, suspension arms, $400. Buddy Club rail, $350. The Recaro RSG gray stitched all black. Really hard to find. I randomly stumbled across them. I picked them up for 3,000 USD for both. We got a Battlecraft shift knob for 150. The Renegade VTEC solenoid cover. I went this way because replacing the rusty unit was about $255, and I felt the cover would do fine. Trying to stay on a budget. C's horn button at $175 including shipping. It was a very hard to find piece, but someone had it for $150, and then he shipped it out to me for $175 total. Circuit Hero hub $195. Honed fire extinguisher plate $29 plus an extinguisher I still have yet to get. All the parts that I haven't got yet, they still need to be added to this. So this is the current tally of what I have. The tires, axle back from Spoon, the headlights, front bumper, DX wing, JDM folding mirrors, and the miscellaneous Honda order is all the bits and pieces I had to order from Honda. The current tally is at 400 when I made this, so I'm adding that in there. And lastly, we have the junkyard bits, which was $95 for the AC parts. Hood cable I needed because the latch pull is always broken. So I got one from the junkyard for $30. I didn't end up using the radiator from the junkyard, so I got a brand new one. And then I got a junkyard EK rad fan. So that puts the grand tally to $21,300 as of today, the day I'm making the video. So that's all current parts ordered, not including what I need to order and what needs to be done on the car. I still plan on getting the bumpers painted, the wing, some other things. It needs to go in for detailing because the paint is a little rough after all this time. And there's obviously going to be quite a few more parts that I'm going to need to get the car running, fluids. So the budget is still 25,000 USD. And I hope I can bring it in under that, but that's where we're at right now. Alright, we're inside the car now. The first thing I wanted to do with the interior was to go to the junkyard and get AC for it. It's nice to have it ready, so I don't have to pull out the climate control and some of the dash components. The AC unit. So what we want to do is pull this out and pull the crossbar, and we're going to need the evaporator box from here. You don't need to pull out the dash, and then secondly from the interior you're going to need the AC button. My car is a different year than this, has a different climate control, so all I do is take the switch out from the bottom. Next, what we need for AC is a couple things out of here. So here we'll see a couple relays that are most likely going to be missing. So these and this diode. Those are the only things we'll need out of there. And the AC should work. Another thing we'll need from the junkyard is one of these brackets and the dryer bracket. You can take the dryer too if it's in good shape, but usually everything else is not good enough to use. Next up, I wanted to remove the NRG steering hub and quick release combo. I'm not one for really having too many components on my steering, so that had to go. I went with a Circuit Hero hub. It's similar to the Mugen hub. It's fully billet, and it has like provisions for allowing the horn plate. I do recommend epoxying this to this hub. I do not recommend leaving it stock. What happened in my last car was I used the OEM one off the non-SRS or non-airbag steering wheel, and that unit broke. It just broke off, and then the horn went crazy in the middle of the night one night, and it was a frustrating thing. So what I did now is I epoxied this on so it won't move around or slide off. So now the horn will work and I don't have to worry about it. I wanted to address the wheel clearance on the car first before I even get the wheels on there. The EK has a larger diameter wheel than a DC and an EG. It also has a larger wheel arch here, but the inner structure remains the same as a DC and EG. So the problem here is when we lower it, the tire will contact the inner structure pretty quick. You'll notice that there's a flap on all the cars underneath, but on an EK you have to bend it backwards. If you bend it forward towards the upper control arm, it will contact that, and if you bend it towards myself, it's actually not going to be able to be flattened too much. You're going to gain a little clearance. It's not going to cut the tire, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off, seam weld both the panels after hammering one side up and then cutting this side and then seam welding them together. A few of the tools I'll be using to complete this job. We need to cut the flap, so we might need to use an air saw or some sort of saw, or you can use this if it can fit. You can take this guy off. If it fits and works for you, for the access, I do recommend using the air file. This will make quick work of bringing the metal down. For cleanup, I tend to use this guy or the air. I didn't use this yet, but we'll see. So most likely I'll use this to do some edge cleanups. The hammers, we got a high crown. This will let you tap it up, whereas this won't contact because it's flat and that's round. And those are the tools I'll be using. I'm satisfied with how clean that is. So now I want to raise it up. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can tap it up we've increased the radius. We've welded the seam together with my TIG welder. It took a little bit of time because it was contaminated on the backside, but we have one piece now and more clearance after hammering it up. It will need to be seam sealed, and we will shoot some cavity wax within these holes. There's quite a few holes there. We'll just shoot some cavity wax in there to prevent any rust in the future. But we will paint it, seam sealer, and it will be good to go.